Hey friends, I want to talk about a frame that's been really helpful to me with my various practices and interests, which is the distinction between regularity and consistency. So this actually came up for me in the context of meditation, which I'll use as an example, but it really applies to a lot of different things. It applies to my art practice or my movement practices or any kind of habit that I cultivate. For a long time, I would say that my goal with meditation was to be consistent, which was to practice every day. You know, in college, I practiced for half an hour every day. I meditate for half an hour every day, pretty much first thing in the morning. And that was so important to me. It was like, I need to do it every day. And I also hated it. I really hated it and had such a hard time with it. And that's consistency, is doing something, say, every day or once a week or once a month and being consistent about it, being like clockwork. Like, I do this at this rhythm always, always, always. And it's so important to me that I need to be consistent about it. And you know what? That's important. That's a valid move. It's okay to be consistent about things. But there's another option, which often for me feels better, which is to be regular about something. And that is when you're like, hey, this is important to me. I care about this. This is a habit that I want to do regularly, but I don't need to do it literally every day or once a week or whatever the rhythm is. I want to do it when I feel called to, when it feels good to me. And maybe that's a few times a week, one week, and maybe that's every day another week, or maybe I go a whole month without doing it, but it's an important part of my life and I do it regularly, and I return to it again and again when it feels right for me. And yeah, that's a qualitatively different experience, is doing something regularly. And for me, that feels a lot better with something. Like, one way that I started doing something regular was with my art practice, where, I don't know, it's probably been a week since I've drawn something. And before that, it was probably a couple weeks. And then I think there was several months this year where I didn't draw anything. And that's fine, because art is a regular part of my life and it's something I'm going to return to. And I also actually have known that I do Inktober every year. I've done Inktober every year for the last few years, I think for 4 years in a row. And 4 years in a row. And I'll do it probably for a fifth year this year in October. And that means I make a drawing every day for a month. And so that's a time when I do it consistently for a little while. And that feels great. It feels great to have a time to focus on that. And I don't know, I wouldn't necessarily want to draw every day for the rest of my life. Even though that would be a fun thing to do. It's like, there are other things that I care about more, or other things that are more important to me, but I want to draw sometimes when it feels good for me. And allowing myself to make this distinction and to choose whether I want to do something consistently or regularly has really opened up a lot of psychological space for me to have different interests and different activities and different habits, where it's like, yeah, this is important to me. I want to go deeper into it. I even want to go deeper into it for the rest of my life. But it's something that I'm going to do regularly when I feel enlivened by it and it feels fun, rather than consistently no matter what. And there are some things that are worth being consistent about no matter what. And this isn't actually one of them. It's something I want to be regular about and make sure that I'm in alignment with it when I do it, and that it feels fun and enlivening, and that there's eros towards it. And yeah, I care about this enough to do it regularly. I'm not just doing it once or twice, but I'm not necessarily holding myself to doing it literally every day or once a week or once a month, whatever it is. I don't need to be like clockwork about this. So that's opened up a lot of space for me. It's been very healing for me, especially with meditation practice. You know, in my 20s, I was really trying to be consistent about it, and that's good. That was good to do for a time, but I'm happy that it's regular now. And it's like, yeah, I meditate, and I meditate when I feel like it, in the ways that I feel like it, and when it's enlivening, rather than something I'm forcing myself to do. I think this is very related to coercion and non-coercion. And a secret is, it's actually okay to coerce yourself to do something. I love this tweet from James Stuber of like, self-coercion's like the pull cord on a lawnmower. Like, you pull it to get started, but then you don't keep pulling it. And so sometimes you have to motivate yourself to do something and be like, yeah, I'm going to do this now. And I don't really want to, but we're going to do it anyway, because it's worth it for the larger picture. But it's also nice to not coerce yourself and just do things when it feels really alive and in line with who you are and what you want to be doing. And it's much more sustainable to do things in that way and non-coercively. So I I think doing things regularly is also more sustainable, where it's like, yeah, there are going to be people who do this every day of their lives for the rest of their lives, and they're going to be the professionals, they're going to be the experts at it. But this isn't sufficiently important to me that I need to do it every day no matter what. I'm just going to do it regularly, and I'm going to get good at it. I'm not going to be amazing. I'm not going to be expert level at it, but I'm going to do it when it feels fun and alive. And paradoxically, there's a kind of mastery that comes from being good at a lot of different things that's different than the single-minded, myopic focus on being excellent at one thing. And I love that. I love that kind of jack of all trades, generalist excellence over the mastery of one, expertise at one kind of thing. And it's like, I know why people would want that, but I like a life where I meditate and I draw and I write essays and I write fiction and I make music and I tweet and I run an organization. Like, that's a much more vibrant and interesting life for me. It's much more me-shaped, much more Tashin-shaped, and yeah, it's the life for me. So making this distinction has been really valuable, and maybe knowing about it will be useful to you. I'd love to hear any thoughts that you have or reflections, and feel free to make them in the comments. Otherwise, I'm sending you love.